Hello, welcome to the bee vlog. Today I'm going to be adding another box on top of this hive here. This is Queen Guinevere, one of the swarms I caught a few weeks ago, or more than a month ago. And today I'm going to show you in a little bit more detail of how I go through the process of adding another box on top. I'll be expanding their brood nest, and that involves what I call pyramiding up. That is not a term I invented. That comes from other beekeepers who are way better than I am. But I'm going to be following that method and show you how I do it. First of all, I use foundationless frames. I'm beginning to number my frames here with the year that I installed them. So this was installed in 2013. As a part of my foundationless frame, I have a comb guide on the underside of the top bar. This is just a standard length-width medium frame, and I took the wedge bar that you pop out if you're installing foundation, and I just turned it 90 degrees and glued and nailed it in place. I don't add any wax to it. I found that it's really not necessary. The bees find the guide just fine and use it for the most part, and adding wax just takes a lot of extra time and effort and is messy, so I don't go through the trouble. I also don't wire my frames. There's no wire here. A medium frame doesn't really need wire. I don't harvest using an extractor or spinner. I just crush and strain. So no need for wire here. The comb stands up to normal use just fine. So before opening the box, I gave it quite a bit of smoke. Gave it a couple minutes to kind of soak in, let them start getting busy with saving the honey so that they're less interested in me. After I crack open the inner cover, I spray in a little bit more smoke because they tend to kind of fly out right as I open it. They still haven't built out any comb on this 10th frame here, but they have all 9 frames built out very well. Frame number 9 here is not fully built out, but it's close. Let's pull that out and take a look at it. There's the 9th frame. They've been filling it with honey and pollen. So to expand the brood nest, I'm going to start in the middle here. I'm going to take frames number 4 and 6, and I'm going to bring them up into the box up above. So I need to release those frames. Once I have those frames loosened up, I can prepare my box by removing the frames 4 and 6 from the upper box as well. Give a little bit of room for me to add in these frames. Give myself some room here. There we go. Okay. So here's frame 4. I'll just move it over to position number 4 in the new box. Then go to frame 6. Put in position 6 in the new box. Then I fill in the gaps here with empty frames. Now this is best done when you have warm weather and a box full of bees, because they need to be able to keep the brood covered and keep them warm. Having these gaps in here, if there aren't enough bees, will chill the brood, or if the weather is too cold, it will not be ideal. Put frame 10 back. And then make sure everything is pushed together and centered in the box, so there's proper bee space. And then put on the new box. Same thing with the top box. These are alternating. So frames 4 and 6 were the ones I moved up. And make sure we've got all 10 frames in here and it's all pushed together and centered. And the reason I do this is because you can't just throw on an empty box on top and expect the bees to move up into it. They just don't do it. So you have to move some frames up to encourage them to move up, because they like to walk. They want to be able to climb up on something. And the gap space in the brood nest makes them want to fill in that gap so they can keep the brood warm and repair what I've just done, so that there are no gaps in the brood nest. And that's it. Now they'll build that out and expand up into the second box. Now it's time to do the same thing with Queen Dulce. As we gamers would say, she's going to level up. They're even more full up and in need of this than Queen Guinevere was. I'm going to take out this first frame here to make room. I'll set it aside. Set it over here. So I'm going to grab frames 4 and 6. and push everything together. Make sure it's all centered. Put on the new box. Get the bees out of the way here. And also make sure that this is all pushed together and centered. All right. Queen Dulce is ready to grow. While I'm here, I wanted to take a quick peek at Queen Elizabeth. This was the small swarm that had moved into my bait hive, and I want to see how well they're growing out now. I pulled out the bottom tray to take a look and didn't see any mites, but there were some ants. So I'm going to see if the ants are making their way up into the hive or if they're keeping their distance and the bees are keeping them off. Last time I was here 2 weeks ago, they were only occupying about half of 5 frames. It was these 5 frames here and just the one half of it, but it looks like they have grown out now and they're starting to fill out the same 5 frames but a little bit further out into the frames. They hadn't even begun to build comb on this 6th frame at the time, but they're festooning it now. Let's see if I can see this on the camera. They're festooning on the 6th frame. Actually, sorry, this is the 9th frame in the box, but the 6th frame in their nest. So it looks like they're going to start building comb on that if I leave them alone. The frame that they had begun originally is right here, and they have it filled out very well. They're growing nicely. There's a little engine that could. We got a good looking brood pattern here. So they're fine. I see them bringing in lots of pollen, and while their numbers are low, they're healthy and seem to be doing alright. I don't see any ants inside the hive. Looks like they're just cleaning up the stuff that's falling out the bottom. So no need to worry about that. They've begun propolizing. So they seem to be doing well.